Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing today. So how communities can partner to increase access to summer meals for kids and teens. This is the topic of our conversation today. And I say conversation because I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel like this is about you. It's not just about us. It's about the world we live in and how together we can work as a community. There are summer meals programs available for kids and teens every single day of the summer, potentially. And that's from the moment school ends till the school begins. And we want to make sure that we all embrace that program fully and connect to maximize those meals. This is a partnership that we're going to talk about more between the Carolina Hunger Initiative, which is where Jessica and I both hail from, at the UNC Center for Health Promotion and Disease Prevention, and then the Summer Nutrition Programs, which is the federal nutrition program administered in our state by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And here are pictures of us as the presenters. I'm Tamara Baker. I'm Communications and Project Director of the Carolina Hunger Initiative. I also work on the No Kid Hungry North Carolina team at UNC and have been a part of that team for a long time. I'm going to encourage everyone to mute themselves if you possibly can, except for Jessica and me. And if you have comments to make, to please share them in the chat, and then we will call on you if that's important. Jessica has been with us for many years now. We're excited. She's a research specialist and assistant professor with the Carolina Hunger Initiative and No Kid Hungry North Carolina at UNC. She's actually Dr. Jessica Soldovini now. She worked with us while she was getting her PhD and now has that distinguished honor. And she's all over the place. She's a superstar. We're glad to have her on our team. Next slide. Here's a quick snapshot of what we're going to talk about today. An overview includes, first, we're going to talk a minute about us, then the role of federal nutrition assistance programs across the U.S., then specifically the North Carolina summer nutrition programs for kids and teens, and then partnerships. It's all about partnerships. Then we're going to give you an example of county by county snapshots and how you can use those. Then we're going to talk a lot about outreach. And then nutrition education, because it's always a learning process. And for kids, it needs to be fun. So fun activities associated with learning. And then the key takeaways that we learned from our last year's work and our cumulative years before that. And then our big plans for the summer 2022. And heads up, if you're a student, we're going to be offering paid internships for the summer of 2022. And these might be life-altering for you. So heads up. Next, about us a moment. I'm in the photo on the right, and yes, I'm the one on the far right in the pink shirt. And that's just to show you what my real world is about besides my work. And that is my family life. That's my husband, Todd, and then my son, John, and Caroline, who are both adopted. And we're a family of a lot of variety and a lot of taste and interest. And we all come together to work as a family partnership. And that's pretty much what sums up our work as well. A lot of disparate parts come together to work. This was in my happy place. We went to Brazil a couple of years ago before the pandemic. And this was just a moment that I look at this and it remind me we were eating a nice, healthy meal, that we had acquired all local foods. And we were sitting down at the table with the mindful meal. And that's also what the food should be about, is celebrating mindful experiences. And then I'll turn it over to Jessica, our expert chainsaw operator there, and let her share.
Yeah, so Tamara picked that picture for the slide. So that is a picture of me doing some ice carving. And so in terms of what I enjoy doing, outside of work and things like that, I really enjoy cooking. And so I've actually been going to culinary school. And so as part of that, we learned how to do ice carvings. And so that's where that picture comes in there. But yeah, I really enjoy, food and nutrition in general. And so that's kind of how that plays in, and really enjoy the work with Carolina Hunger Initiative and being able to, use those passions in the work that I do. So I'm going to start off by just giving us a brief overview of the federal nutrition programs. So the federal nutrition programs, the USDA administers 15 federal nutrition assistance programs. These include things like SNAP, which was formerly the Food Stamps Program, the WIC program, the School Meals Program, Summer Meals Program, Child and Adult Care Food Program, and many others. These programs play a really large role in providing food assistance in the United States. You can look here, the chart on the left you see shows that the proportion of funding from the Farm Bill, which is one of the big pieces of legislation when it comes to food and agriculture. More than 75% of that funding goes through to nutrition assistance programs like SNAP and school meals. So there's a lot of federal funding going towards that. And I think a lot of times when we think about nutrition assistance programs, we tend to think of things like donating food, food drives, food banks, and the charitable food system is a very important part of food assistance. However, if you look here on the right from this graphic from Bread for the World, you can see that only about 1 in 10, you can see bags of food assistance comes from charitable organizations, and federal nutritionists provide the rest. So these federal nutrition programs are really important when it comes to providing food assistance in the US. And so just a little brief overview of how food assistance programs are funded and work. This graphic here is focused specifically on school meals. However, it's very similar for the other programs as well. So you can see on a congressional level, there is federal legislation regarding these programs. So for example, you can see some examples of the school meals legislation there. These programs are administered by the United States Department of Agriculture. And so this agency here, when it comes to like the school meals, summer meals, child and adult care food program, those types of programs, they provide the nutrition guidelines for the meals, they oversee the program, and they also pass along that federal funding to states. So these programs are funded at a federal level, and they're administered on a state level by a state agency. And so in North Carolina, our state agency for school and summer meals is the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And so they oversee those programs, and then they're the ones that pass along that federal funding to the local organizations that run these programs. So when it comes to school meals during the school year, we have school nutrition departments that are the ones administering these meal programs. We're going to be talking a lot about summer meals programs today, and those are administered by a lot of school nutrition departments as well as community organizations. And so these are the programs that actually administer the programs in their communities. And then you have schools or other sites where meals are actually served. So you can see just the kind of the key part to focus on is on those orange circles on the left, just seeing that these are federal programs. The funding comes from a federal level. It's passed along to a state agency, and then that funding gets to local communities. So these programs are bringing in federal dollars to local communities to help provide food assistance to children. And so these programs have a lot of benefits. One thing to keep in mind is that there is a lot of need, and for these programs in North Carolina, more than 18% of children are food insecure. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, about 60% of students in North Carolina public schools were eligible for free and reduced price school meals. So a lot of children relying on these programs. Child nutrition is important for multiple reasons. One of them including is it's even a national security issue. I'm going to be speaking later this week with mission readiness, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about how these programs relate to national security, but more than 70% of young adults are actually not eligible to serve in the military, with obesity being the leading medical reason. So another reason to think about these. And then these programs have also been shown to reduce food insecurity, improve dietary quality, as well as improve academic performance. And so school meals programs are also, we often think of these as something that are outside of the school day and separate from school, but really, good nutrition and having access to meals is really important for learning and really should be viewed as part of the academic day as well. So the programs that we're going to be focused on specifically today are the federal summer nutrition programs. And these programs, so during the school year, children in schools have access to free and reduced price school meals. However, during the summer months, they lose access to those programs. And so these summer meals programs aim to fill that gap by providing free meals to kids and teens and low-income communities during the summer months. What's great about these programs is any child 18 or younger can go to an open meal site and receive a free meal without having to fill out any paperwork or ID. With these programs, for most types of sites, there's some exceptions, but for the most part, when it comes to meal sites, the meal site itself is determined to be eligible rather than having to qualify an individual child. So they're in areas where at least 50% of kids are eligible for free and reduced price meals. And then anyone going to the site can get that free meal. And this is a reimbursement-based program, so the providers get reimbursed for providing meals to kids and teens. And these meals do have to meet certain meal pattern guidelines. So they need to have fruits and vegetables and things like that. So there are nutrition standards that meals do need to follow in order to be served through these programs. And in North Carolina, the summer nutrition program is administered by the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. And prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, I mentioned this earlier, nearly 60% of public school students were eligible for free and reduced price meals. And so this program really helps to fill an important gap for those students during these summer months. And so in terms of the summer meals programs, with these programs, there are a lot of rules and regulations related to them. It's something we want to keep in mind. So prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, things such as the congregate feeding requirement, where kids have to eat meals on site, the child has to be there present to consume the meal. You can't take home meals or things like that. However, during the COVID-19 pandemic, there were a lot of things going on that would make the traditional rules and regulations challenging to actually implement. And so there was a lot of waivers to the requirements of the meal programs. And so they basically waived a lot of these rules and regulations. So you may have seen news stories or things about meal programs being able to have families being able to go and pick up meals to take home, or meals being delivered to kids, and the different waivers that have been happening have allowed for that to take place. And so we've had waivers that have allowed allowed parents to pick up meals for their kids. They've been able to deliver meals to students. They've been able to serve multiple meals at one time. So that way you can get your breakfast and lunch at the same time, or even a week of meals at the same time. So we've had a lot of different adaptations going on to these programs that have actually really that have been addressing barriers to participation pre-COVID that have actually allowed us to see some changes in our participation. And so I'll talk a little bit about what we've seen. So you can see here, these are showing the sponsoring organizations, and a sponsor is basically like the administrator of the program, or administering program, and then sites are the physical locations where meals are served. So you can see a comparison to before and after COVID. So 2019 was our last pre-COVID summer, and then 2020 was that first summer during the pandemic, and then 2021 was last summer. And so you can see we've seen some growth in sponsors over time. We can see the sites slightly decreased that first summer, but then in 2021, we saw quite a big growth in the number of locations that were serving free meals to students. And you can see here in these pictures, you can see this here is an example of a meal, summer meal served at a meal site. This one, I believe, is actually from Wilson the Spot in Wilson, North Carolina. And then on the right, you can also see a meal pickup here as well. So you can see those families can actually just drive up and get their meals and take them home with them. And then in terms of what we've seen in terms of changes in meal growth, with these different waivers and things, we have seen a very large increase in the number of meals served through summer meals programs in North Carolina. So you can see in 2020, 6 times more meals were served compared with pre-COVID. And in 2021, 4.6 times more meals were served through the federal summer meals programs. So this is really great and exciting to see that we have more meals being served through these meal programs. A couple of limitations that we do want to keep in mind with these data were that we are only comparing the summer meals programs, and there were some waivers in place during the school years that actually during the pandemic, they were actually serving meals under the summer meals program. So in North Carolina, some schools are in session part of June and part of August. So we're not necessarily comparing apples to oranges or apples to apples here, but there was still, growth in meals served. through these. And so exciting to see that the different waivers and things that have been happening have really helped with allowing for more meals to be served to children in our state through these meal programs. So I'm going to turn it over to Tamara, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about our work with partnerships and one specific initiative that we focused on last summer.
Thank you, Jessica. Wow, those are some astounding numbers. To go from the numbers that we saw in 2019 and 6 times the amount of meals is just phenomenal. It shows you what can happen if the meals, if more people are aware of the meals, if some of the rules are lifted, and if the whole world is upside down and changed. But we learned a lot from the pandemic that I think we can take into the future. We have some challenges to figure out how to make all of that work since Congress is in charge of so many of these decisions, but we're excited to see what holds in the future. Partnerships are really so much of the only way forward. It's always been the case, and they're the way forward. When No Kid Hungry North Carolina formed in 2011, and I was part of that original team, we decided that we wanted to build partnerships, and that was the basis of our work. Over time, we decided that was even more and more important because partnerships are what build trust, and they're what build understanding. Jessica shared lots of facts and figures, but I want to discuss now how our work help shape the success of those meals served, and hopefully created a great deal more awareness than otherwise might be the case. But we still have so much work to do. From day one, we've made it clear that the No Kid Hungry North Carolina team, which is also the Carolina Hunger Initiative team now, we reframed our work and at UNC here in 2020 as the pandemic started, because it just made a lot more sense. It was much more of an approach to be able to work with all North Carolinians and across many, many partnerships and funders. But we made it clear from the beginning, we're not the experts, we are conveners, we're collaborators, and we're partners there to help clear a pathway forward for children to receive the nutrition they need. Our number one partnership from day one has been with the state agency, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, and with the school nutrition teams. A lot of people are not aware, but those meals don't just magically appear on the cafeteria trays or in line for the parents to pick them up. There are dedicated school nutrition teams, thousands of employees around the state. It may be the biggest employer. It may be one of the biggest employers in the state, if not, if you looked at the whole of school nutrition teams. But all 100 counties have school districts. There are 115 public school districts in North Carolina, and they all have a school nutrition team that is leading the way and working hard to make these meals consistent. And especially during the pandemic, we tried to make sure that people thought of them, and USDA wanted that school nutrition team for people to think about them as the number one source to go to, the nutrition hub of the community, if you will, because they were putting together a lot of moving parts and players and working with a lot of partners. Community organizations are so critical. They too run summer nutrition programs. They run at-risk after-school meal programs under the Child and Adult Care Food Program at DHHS. There are so many organizations like that within communities that are a part of and potential part of serving meals for children during the summer months. And key to partnerships, we've learned from day one, I'm a big talker, but it's more about listening than talking. It's focusing, it's adapting. You have to be able to change course at every barrier. You have to be able to tweak the plan just a little bit. Streamlining, because no one needs academic speak. No one understands the 50-cent words that we use so many times to explain these programs. And engagement is a two-way street. And most of all, it involves ongoing communication. The next slide. I think it's very important as part of the communication is that we are able to share a picture, a snapshot of what's happening in each of the 100 counties for summer meals. USDA, which administers all these federal programs, counts summer meals by county level. And that may be that there are many organizations who are providing the meals within that county. Sometimes it's just the school system. Almost always it's the school system, but in some cases it's 7 and 8 other organizations that are, quote, meal sponsors is the term. And then the places where meals are served are called meal sites. Well, what we do is we take the data that we're so appreciative to get from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, which is, of course, provided by the individual sponsors so they can be accountable and file for reimbursement all of those many meals they serve. We take that data and slice it and dice it, and Jessica's a master at doing this, and we create these profiles. And this is meant to be printed front and back if printed, and it gives you a ton of information. If you zoom in on that just a little bit, and Jessica, maybe you can do that for us, you can see lots of highlights in there. It talks about the changes that have occurred over from one summer to the next. And very importantly, on the top of page 2, it talks about the economic contribution. And if you were to zoom in and see how important that was, you can see orange is money not accessed and blue is money accessed. So there's just so much more opportunity if there were more and more and more partnerships. And the need, we share here the data that tells the number of students who have filed paper, their families have filed paperwork and indicated that they are eligible for free and reduced price meals. And those counties and schools that are wholesale considered in such high need areas that they're community eligible for all their meals to be free. We know that all summer meals are free, but the way that need gets determined gets complicated fast. And so what we do is we share here and say, here's a snapshot of the need in your county. Here are how many kids are impacted. And it's very important. In the words of a wise leader at DPI who shared with me just as I began working on this cause about 11 years ago, she said, if you don't measure it, it did not happen. And that's so true. We can never have an elevator speech, as they say, with a potential mayor or a leading community member where we have them for a moment and say, did you know, if we don't have the right facts? This is your gold mine. This is your piece, your go-to to say, I have the facts. In my county, in Anson County, let me tell you the way summer nutrition works. Let me tell you how many children have needs where they don't know if they're going to get access to healthy nutrition or not. And this is a reliable function provided through our tax dollars, through my tax dollars. And I want to make sure that those dollars go to North Carolina children since I'm paying them in North Carolina. Next slide. At the start of the pandemic in March 2020, everyone pitched in with tremendous energy, enthusiasm, and they're able to do so much astounding work to reach as many children as possible when schools closed almost 2 years ago, or a little more than 2 years ago now, on March 17th of 2020. Buses and vans went the opposite direction. They didn't go just to the schools with kids. Instead, they turned around and delivered meals to homes where kids were learning, and caregivers could pick up meals. All of that momentum resulted in astounding numbers of meals, as we said, 6 times the prior summer. But by 2021, in making plans for the summer, the challenges were mounting. Nutrition teams were exhausted. They had worked 24/7, 7 days a week in many cases. When others were at home sitting on their sofa, they were still working. Many rec centers and camps were still closed, and oh my, there became shortages of everything from toilet paper to supplies needed for packaging to hygiene supplies. And there were supply chain problems that were very real. Those kids that depended on certain proteins with their meal, those proteins were not being delivered anywhere. They were stuck somewhere in the system. So the state agency, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, got their heads together with us and said, how can we sustain this great momentum that happened in the summer of 2020? So in response, came to life a program called Summer Meals, the number 4, NC Kids. And we coined that phrase. We had used it as a hashtag in the previous summer, but we decided to reframe all of our work about summer meals and to put it under that banner. The campaign would build on a strong brand created 4 or 5 years earlier when DPI got really smart, and their team partnered with us to host a contest for high school and middle school students to help put a face on summer nutrition. You know, federal nutrition programs typically have this nice institutional kind of brand that looks like something old in many cases. And we wanted this to be about the light, the sun, the fun, all the things that summer meals meant. And so out of that effort and that recruitment of encouraging high school students to get involved was born this cute little guy at the top. We named him RayFSun. Get it, you know, RayFSun. So he has a full name. He was born and became the program mascot. And not only did we put him in comic book form, in character form, he came to life in a giant 7-foot tall mascot costume that if you've seen him, he's very memorable. He's absolutely adorable. Kids love to put their hands all over him. And another thing was that another group of students, another high school students, came up with that beautiful logo you see in the bottom right-hand corner that's bright and sends a wonderful message about how fun summer meals can be. And it's all about the fun and learning involved in summer meals that often goes along with making sure the kids get access to those meals. Next slide. So what is the meat of the summer meals for NC Kids program? Well, the campaign in 2021, one of our first rules was we needed to make sure that we were putting our arms around some of the rural counties so that they could help sustain their programs. There was an ongoing pandemic emergency, as there still is, but it was especially dire still in 2021. But the places were starting to, with great care, to hold some kind of indoor programming, and summer schools were going to happen. Summer learning was mandated by the General Assembly, and if a school district didn't have it, it probably better have a really good reason not to, because they were really concerned about learning loss. So here are just some of the counties that we picked. I will tell you that there was quite a process that went through, but the bottom line is that the partners had to be willing partners, and we worked primarily through the school districts because they had really been the focus carried over from the pandemic of working as the nutrition hub. We did work with some community partners. We also were not able to get things in place until, you know, sometimes the red tape can be long. We weren't able to get some things in place until the summer was about to happen. And so it was really the building blocks that were initiated then, starting with how do you make success, how do you grow programs in very rural areas. Next slide. Well, these symbols represent a lot of different kinds of work. Our comprehensive campaign included many, many moving parts. Since Ray is a mascot superstar in selfies, oh my goodness, I wanted to start charging admission for people to get to come up and take their picture with him, because every time we were in public, you know, the state cabinet secretaries wanted to take their picture. He has, you know, hugs with the governor, hugs with sports and athletic officials, and then lots and lots and lots of kids, even high schoolers, wanted their pictures and their selfies with Ray at a Bulls softball game. I was thrilled to see. Well, our intern students helped us with this a great deal. They helped us get underway by creating stakeholder lists for each focus county, staffing events, and developing materials. And when I say stakeholder list, that's a broad category, because we felt that was the greatest way to have success, is to tell people who didn't know about us about the value in their own community. And the list ranged from mayors and city managers for every single town we were focusing on within those counties, the local news media, the city and county commissions, both the digital and the paper versions of the local media, to potential community partners, such as local faith-based organizations, food councils, and food pantries. So it was really a comprehensive list. The new campaign included Ray and the summer nutrition program brand, but which much more robust and created to provide really a roadmap for outreach and community engagement around summer meals. It included not only the stakeholder outreach I just talked about, an online toolkit, partnerships, even grant money, the texting promotions of I'm going to share with you in a minute about, and social media and case studies. So next slide. Oh, I will remind you too, please put in the chat your name and organization if you have not already done so. So we'll get a sense of where you're from and even your hometown if you would, hometown and state. I hear that some folks are even joining us from out of state. So thank you for doing that. A priority for our campaign was to create a website that could be all things summer meals for kids in North Carolina. The web content needed to be evergreen. We needed to be nimble and flexible to keep the content fresh and on a dime to add a new piece of information or news about a waiver that was added or removed or whatever. And it needed to be colorful and fun. It needed to be a place to house activities where meal sponsors and sites could go to. It needed to talk about all the different needs. And it needed to be able to be sustainable as a storehouse of information. And yes, the state agency, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, had a lot of information on their website, but they were not able to make changes like we could. We have a webmaster that, thank you, Andrew Harrell, shout out to you, that Andrew can make changes usually in about 10 minutes from when we talk about them. So it's forever important that we can be nimble like that. And you can see the different categories at the top. We had something there. We have sections there for parents, something for those who are holding activities, for nutrition education, and for the meal sponsors and sites. And it's a growing issue. It's a growing website. So again, if there's something you think we should add and it's not there, please let us know. We are going to make sure it's very specific and funneling directly to child nutrition. I do get some commercial requests and we just can't necessarily meet those. Online Toolkit is another very important tool that we use. The community, by having the online toolkit, there used to be days that we would hand out paper kits with information and, you know, we're saving the trees. We don't do that anymore. We make sure that those files are customizable by your end. We put the files in that free software online available to everyone called Canva, C-A-N-V-A, that lets you go and put your own photo in or lets you change a line or add your own logo. So we call this templates, and those are available at that link on the page here. And they are great sources of information in case you think, well, what in the world would I want to say to parents? I'm a school system and I want to tell them about summer meals. And we encourage you to do that. Social media posts, we encourage you to do that and go and find these toolkit, these pieces that you can share. Parent flyers. If parents don't know about it, you know, the meals are really not going to get to the children if the caregivers don't know. And many times the caregivers are not even the parents. They're the grandparents and aunts and uncles, and kids go and spend summers with cousins. And, you know, any child who shows up or needs a meal is eligible to get a meal at a summer meal site. No registration, no identification, if that meal site is considered a quote open to the public meal site, and most of them are, and those are the ones that we advertise. And so that means that if your cousin is visiting from New York, they too are able to get a free meal, no questions asked. So we work to create these flyers that are very specific and customized to the individual organization. Next are a need arose. Again, what is that tip I said about partnerships? It's about listening. We created a slide deck because we listened and we heard. I got an important call from a school nutrition director that said, I can't do this program unless I talk to my board first, and I need some slides tomorrow. And so we pulled together information that mattered to that school district. And we have, again, those templates that you can pull and put your information in, no matter what your organization is. And remember those county profiles, you can pull data from those county profiles to make it very meaty and specific. Next, vehicle magnets, yard signs, and web buttons. Those might not seem like they're that important, but you know, those cute little yard signs, I live in Chapel Hill and I see them every summer by the street, and it reminds me that there are places that you can get meals. Well, the Summer Meals for NCKids.org website is going to give you access to a map where there are pins on every location where meals are being served. And that's a very important way to share, to learn about where the meals are. We're going to tell you in a minute about a texting capability. And then, of course, web buttons. So I encourage everyone, even your church, to put a web button on all summer long on the homepage of your website that says Summer Meals for Kids and Teens at no cost. And that links to the website, summermealsfornckids.org. It's not that I'm just trying to drive traffic. We're trying to drive a source of information for questions that are critical to families as summer comes on. Next slide. Jessica now is going to tell you about some of the fun events and how we applied the things that we had learned and all the materials that we developed and how we put them to use first in Edgecombe County schools.
So thank you, Tamara. So yeah, as Tamara mentioned, during the summer, another thing that we did was help to plan events. And so with the Summer Meals program, one of the things that can be helpful to help raise awareness as well as just celebrate the great work that these programs are doing is to hold events. So some programs host a kickoff event, for example, to help garner attention around the program. Others do midsummer activities. We often refer to these as spike events to also help increase awareness of the program or some sort of end of summer celebration. So we worked with 4 communities throughout North Carolina to organize some of these events last summer. One of them was with Edgecombe County Schools, and this one was really focused around Farm to Summer Week. And so in North Carolina, every summer there is a Farm to Summer Week that helps to promote Farm to Summer. And Farm to Summer is, it's similar to Farm to School, if you're familiar with that, but really helping to promote that connection between farming and the school meals program. So there's different elements such as serving local foods in your meal program, doing nutrition education with children, as well as a gardening. You can also potentially do gardening with the kids. And so it's a great way to work with local farmers, as well as teach kids about where their food is coming from. And so they in Edgecombe County organized an amazing Farm to Summer Week event. They have a partnership with a local farmers who provide food for their school cafeterias. And so they were in their summer meals programs, and they were there and had some tastings and provided some of the produce for the kids. You can see us there. We brought the mascot. We also you can see some nutrition education activities with kids. We made little watermelon fans with them. So just really doing a lot to help promote these programs. With these types of events too, they're really fun activities for the kids participating in the programs to have an opportunity to get involved, but it's also a great way to garner media attention for your program to help to increase that awareness of it. And so you can see here, there was some media coverage of this program in the Rocky Mount Telegram. So inviting different key stakeholders from the community can be really important, as well as providing fun opportunities for children. Another event that we did was in Clinton City Schools, and this one was with some middle school students. And we had, you can see attendance from stakeholders such as the school board chairs, superintendents. They had multiple community partners there that had stations set up, and the kids could rotate through those. So we did a gardening activity with kids. We did a different healthy drink tastings. There were other groups there doing physical activity or other types of activities with the students as well. And they also got their lunch. We did an event with Wilson the Spot. This is a great organization in Wilson, North Carolina. And they had attendance from a variety of stakeholders there as well, and also got some media coverage for their events. And so you can see some fun pictures there, some of the meals that they serve. as well. And if you actually go to our website, carolinahungerinitiative.org, and look under our conference section, they actually had the kids from the meal site. They made a cooking video that we showed at their conference that I really like. So I do encourage you to head over to our website later and check out some of the resources there. But there's a really great cooking demo video from this organization. Also just want to put a plug for. And then the final event that we did was with Robux in county schools, and they had a lot of their key stakeholders in attendance there to help raise awareness and promote the meals program. So they had school board members, county commissioners, people from the school district, and so you can see they're at that event. And at these events, again, there's we did fun activities for the kids, so made it a fun activity for them. We celebrated the school nutrition professionals who are doing such hard work to run these programs, as well as help to bring awareness to the community for these through things such as inviting stakeholders in the community to see what these programs look like, to learn more about them, and getting some media attention for them. And so these are just some examples of events that we assisted with this past summer, but these are not the only events that have happened related to these programs. Other organizations have hosted them, and in past summers, we've also provided support to a variety of events as well. And so I'm going to show you what one of these events looked like.
Day in and day out. Our cafeteria staff and our child nutrition administration and the collaborative effort with other district leaders have helped us in being successful in our summer feeding program. We have served, I think, up to 4 million meals since the pandemic hit in March up until July.
And then the other thing I was also going to talk about is with summer meals programs. Another thing Tamara mentioned we do is we provide nutrition education. And so we provide support to summer meals programs, and we have a team of interns that I'll talk a little bit more about later that helps with this. And we actually can go out to meal sites in the community and provide fun nutrition education and enrichment activities to children. So you can see a couple activities there that we did with kids this past summer. One was a little gardening activity. The other was some watermelon fans. So we do, like I mentioned, have a team of interns who helps us with actually going out and providing the education, but we also provide resources to organizations that they can use themselves. So if you go to our website, you can see the link down there at the bottom. We have different handouts and resources that you can do at your meal site that anyone can access and give out. We also have ideas for simple, low-cost enrichment activities you can do for kids. So a lot of great resources as well if you're interested, but nutrition education and different enrichment activities are especially helpful now this summer. Unfortunately, the waivers were not, it looks like at this point, the waivers are not extended. So if things are going to go back to usual and kids have to eat meals at sites, having fun enrichment activities is also a great way to get them excited about going to the meal sites and allow them to have some fun while they're there. So you can check out that link at the bottom as well. But providing nutrition education as well as other enrichment activities are something that a lot of meal sites work with partner organizations to do. And it's a great thing to partner with your community around, is bringing out different groups to work with the children. So I'm going to turn it back over to Tamara, who's going to tell us a little bit more about some of the other aspects of the project.
Thank you, Jessica. Those events were incredibly fun. It was hot and we were outside. And so I would have loved to have had this big fan you see pictured here. So we learned from that experience that there were things that all sites needed that would really be helpful. One site had gotten a wonderful No Kid Hungry grant and had bought a bunch of tents. And we really appreciated those tents on that hot, sunny day when there were hundreds of children there and adults. And Ray was running around and quite warm. So we gave some end of the summer equipment gift grants just to thank the sponsors we worked with most closely. And there were tents, pop-up tents and giant fans and those food safe coolers that are temperature controlling, and then yard signs and posters and a number of different kinds of tools that would be helpful to them. And so we were glad that we could offer that. And order forms with all these materials already designed are available at that link there on that slide. Next. Well, thinking ahead, so far we've been talking about what we did in the summer of 2021, But here comes the summer of 2022, and summer meals are going to happen again. And we've all been challenged trying to figure out exactly how the program is going to run, because meal rules that had been waived through these national federal waivers. But regardless, meals are going to happen. And so we were excited to think about what could happen this summer. So last summer, we spent some time and during the winter months exploring transportation of meals through sponsor partnerships with delivery service DoorDash. And we're so excited about that opportunity where DoorDash is offering free deliveries. And it looks like in the summer months, it'll likely be between meal sponsors and meal sites. And believe it or not, they cover about 82% of North Carolina, even in many, many rural areas. So stay tuned, you'll be hearing more about that. And wouldn't it be cool if we had a giant nutrition edumobile that could go and get kids excited and have big tents that extend from it that control the temperatures, and we could be high tech and show video and have great music. And there's a smoothie bike that actually makes smoothies that the dairy industry's provided. It'd be great if we could haul that around with us. And we could even provide year-round nutrition education and interactivity. So we pursued that and learned, and it looks like that might actually happen. I'm going to encourage someone to turn off their sound if they have it on in the background. And then last, bus ads and even vehicle wraps, even in rural areas. I think there are about 15 or 20 of these vehicle wraps that are designed by DPI and customized for each county that are now going on vehicles that already been provided through grant funds. And those are happening around the state. And we'll be putting more information online soon about that. So what's next, Jessica? What did we learn from our 2021 experience? Again, we work at UNC and we need to study and we need to evaluate, and we're working with state and federal funding. So we need to pause and make sure we know what we learned so we won't repeat any of those mistakes if we can help it. We learned that each county faces unique circumstances. Every sponsor is unique. Every site is unique. Summer learning uncertainties. Remember, I talked about summer school being offered. It really complicated meal service because they didn't know where the meals, how many kids were actually going to show up from day to day. They didn't know how many would show up until the first day. And so how do you order meals for 600 when 200 show up and you can only get reimbursement for 200 meals because you only get reimbursed on the meals you serve? So all that delicate balance was challenging. But it also offered many more meal opportunities. In some cases, 40 to 60% of the students in that school district were in summer school, and they really called it summer school camp. And they had just a great time. And guess what? They learned and they were fed. Partnerships are more key than ever, we learned, especially during the pandemic. Many sponsors provided weekend meals. Yes, that's allowable by the laws, by the rules of summer meals, no matter pandemic or not. So wouldn't it be great if weekend meals were always available? The supply chain demands and staffing issues just exploded. Each sponsor and site showed perseverance, stamina, and commitment that made the difference. And we learned that we need to call on you and others like you more to help spread the word about summer meals. Share more about that in a moment. Next. Summer meals for NC Kids 2022. Yes, this summer we're expanding our Department of Public Instruction and Carolina Hunger Initiative and summer nutrition sponsor partnerships with even more focused counties. We're planning on working with at least 20 counties directly. We'll have more outreach, more fun events, and even more stakeholder and community engagement. So look for emails, get on our mailing list, learn what's going on. And if you're a community organization and you're not involved, we are looking to partner with you as well. Regardless of the focus counties that we work with, we make sure that all of our materials are available online and digitally, and everyone, no matter what your organization is, has access to these. So whether we are there on your doorstep or not, consider that we are working with you and we are still your partner. We have even bigger plans coming this summer, and keep that in mind. Next. Well, there's a really important update is that for about 8 or 9 years now, there has been a tremendous feature offered to help families find new meals. And this is offered by No Kid Hungry National. And we're so excited that they're going to continue that again this summer. And they pay for that service as a public service to the United States. And no matter where you are, you can text the word food. Historically, it was to the number 877-877. But now, this year, because of some federal regulations, the number had to change, and it will be 304-304. You text the word food, or in Spanish, comida, to find out where the meals are. And it uses the GPS on your phone. It asks you to put an address where you're looking for meals. It can be at grandma's house. It can be across the state. Once you put in that zip code, it's going to find the nearest locations just during the summer months. So we'll be pushing out a lot of new materials, and we're just so thankful for our partner, No Kid Hungry, for continuing to make this service available. This is not just a private sector endeavor, of course. This is the public sector, meaning the government and non-government institutions and the charitable organizations that are all working together to make summer meals happen. They put their data on a regular basis into a big database, and DPI provides that information nationally to No Kid Hungry. So this is as direct as you can get to get timely information. Help us spread the word. Next. Jessica's now going to tell us about something we've all been waiting to hear more about.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about our interns. So I mentioned earlier, we do have an internship opportunity coming up. But first, just want to highlight that we're talking about Engagement Week this week, and UNC students have played a big role in our work. So since our team came to join UNC in 2014, more than 200 students have worked with us and helped support our work. So you can see there, we have some pictures of some of our intern teams from past semesters there. And we also on our website encourage you to check out there. We have some profiles from some of our recent interns that you can check out if you're interested, but they've played a big role in contributing to the work that we do. And so you can see some of our interns here in action. They've helped with things like teaching nutrition lessons, helping with our Cookie Matters programming, going out to summer meal sites. They've helped with developing resources for summer meals programs. So you can see there, we have one of our interns, Peyton, who developed a bunch of enrichment activity ideas that meal sites can do. They've created a variety of materials and helped to support our work. And so this summer, we are recruiting some new interns. And so we do have a brand new internship opportunity that we're offering that we're very excited about. It's our Summer Meals for NC Kids internship program. And this will be a paid internship experience open to UNC Chapel Hill students. And students will be we'll be recruiting students soon. And students will, it's a really great opportunity because students will not only have the opportunity to connect with our team at the Carolina Hunger Initiative, but we're going to be connecting you with a summer nutrition program sponsor who they'll be providing support with throughout the summer. And so the interns will be located throughout North Carolina. They'll be placed with a sponsoring organization, and the job duties will vary slightly by each organization depending on their need. But the main role of the intern will be to support them with different activities. And then they'll also be receiving training, professional development, and networking opportunities from the Carolina Hunger Initiative team. And so we are, again, very excited about this, and additional information and the application is going to be available soon. We're working this week to try and get some logistics finalized. We're getting the location set, and we'll have that available very soon. So that will be posted on our website. You can also reach out if you have questions on that. But yeah, if you're an UNC student looking for a summer internship experience, this is coming up. So we're excited about this. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Tamara to wrap us up for today.
Yes, and thank you all for sticking with us. I will tell you, internships, when I was in college 100 years ago, were what drove me to do what I do and opened that door for me clearly. And I would have never had those opportunities without the internship. They really shaped my world. So what can you do, no matter who you are and you're on this phone call, or your cousin can do, or your aunt or your cousin or your children? You can help promote texting to find summer nutrition for kids and teens. Remember that? Text the word food to 304-304. Go to our website. You'll find plenty of graphics that promote that you can use. Use them on social media on a regular basis. Maybe it'll help build your following. support our work. We also are, a little plug here, we also take donations that give us unrestricted capabilities to do amazing things. And you can find how to give online on our website. Share your voice. Most importantly, advocate and educate. Learn more about the state of hunger and learn about child hunger in our state. The more informed you are, then we feel like you will be a better contributor to humanity. And you can easily join our mailing list, stay informed by getting on our mailing list. And we don't send you a lot of unnecessary information. We have a really good open rate. We use a MailChimp email server program, and we want to have you in our database of 15 or so thousand that we communicate with on a regular basis. Next, we want you to connect with us. So how do you get connected? There are emails. Feel free to reach out to us. There's the website, the CarolinaHungerInitiative.org, and there's summermealsfornckids.org. And there are our Twitter handle, our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok handle. And we just encourage you to be a part. And I want to before I close, I want to give a big shout out to all the hunger heroes out there. Many of you are listening in today, and I suspect some of you will listen to the recording, but especially the school nutrition teams, not just cafeteria staff, but these people instead are culinary professionals who nurture our students every day. You know how important it is for you to connect with the child at mealtime. Imagine there are people who you might not even know who are connecting with your child every single day. And those are the people who run those school cafeterias. They're stretched financially and personally. Those programs are greatly at risk. So we just encourage you to look for ways to uplift and recognize them. And go team nutrition and go team school nutrition. So I want to thank you for being with us today. We didn't leave much time for questions, but I don't think we've received many questions. You can always email us accordingly. And we want to end with this closing note from the Carolina Engagement Week that says, please look for a survey in your email. I think she put the link in the chat, and we look forward to your feedback, suggestions, and comments. We are transparent, we are open, and we welcome hearing from you. So thank you again for your time. Is there anything that anyone needs to send us a quick message about? We are closing here down in about 1 minute, and we just encourage you, make sure and join our world if you possibly have a moment to take that moment and join our mailing list. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jessica. Good teamwork. Teamwork's the dream work. Look forward to seeing you all again soon, we hope.